Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to King Arena here on campus at Wheaton College. I'm Nate Stein alongside Rusty Lindsay. You're watching the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. It is the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament, Game 2 on Day 1. The 5 p.m. game saw Hanover College knock off the University of Dubuque, so Hanover will await the winner of this game for tomorrow's 4 p.m. championship game, and the losers will meet at 2 p.m. immediately prior to that. Wheaton comes in with a record of 8-2, Rusty. They'd had a pretty solid season so far considering what they lost after last year's Final Four run. Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise as to that Wheaton would have to have a different look this year, and that certainly has been the case. And they definitely have, and I think it's come along a little faster than what it was anticipated to. Wheaton sitting at 8-2 final after the first semester wraps up is good. I think Wheaton would tell you they would like to be at 9-1 or 10-0. They felt like the Lake Forest game was one they let get away. But this is a team that starting to play its best basketball, and especially on the defensive end. This is a team that loves to guard, and it's going to be fun to watch this team mold and morph as the year goes on. You added Luke Anthony into the fold, and he came along pretty quickly in that last game before break against North Park. And now as you get him more comfortable and into basketball shape, now you start to look at this team very differently. This was already a very good guard team with your top three. Now you've got a three-headed scoring monster when you look at what Luke Anthony brings along with Cruikshank and Adome. And then you had the defensive presence of Colin Uvegas, who's been starting all this time so far. This is a team that can really get after you on both ends of the floor in the backcourt. Yeah, Rusty, you mentioned Luke Anthony obviously leading the Thunder football team pretty deep into the playoffs, comes back, plays 2 minutes his first game, then comes out the next time on the floor and drops 21 points. So he probably won't need that much time to adjust into, how you put it, basketball shape. The kid can play. He's ready to join this team and go all in here. Obviously, you have some of the returning names who have stepped up in a big way. Tyson Cruikshank, who was more of a role player last year, comes in this year. Huge season so far. He's been a spark for this team. Well, I think, and Mike Schauer would tell you that the Zimbabwe trip was huge for this team and probably couldn't have come at a better time in the development cycle of his program, because like we had just talked about, Wheaton was so Aston-centric last year, and that everything they did, especially once you got to the playoffs, kind of revolved around whether he was making shots or not. This team, and having 10 practices to prepare for an international trip and then play 4 games without Aston Francis and with this whole new look where you've got Niamie Adome with the ball in his hands more, you've got Tyson Cruikshank with the ball in his hands more, and you've got guys adapting to new roles. That's huge. That's almost a full training camp where you can get guys into these new positions and jumpstart them towards this year. So I think he would tell you the Zimbabwe trip is the biggest reason they are where they are now. Now it becomes more important for them to hit the gas and really figure out how fast this thing can rev up to full speed, because they're going to have to answer the bell right out of the break. They're obviously sitting atop the conference right now at 3-0 in the CCIW, but North Central is waiting. As soon as they get out of the gate, Carthage has surprised. They're waiting. Elmhurst, when they're hitting shots, is as hard to beat as anybody in the country. We've seen them beat Oshkosh. They had North Central beat until they kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit. The CCIW is going to absolutely beat up on each other. So Wheaton did itself a favor to get in. If you're looking at the season as a bit of a golf course layout, you make the turn at the 10th hole. You're not 3-0 in conference. You've taken the wins that you should. You got a big win at Illinois Wesleyan without Luke Anthony, and then Illinois Wesleyan figured out who they are. So Wheaton's done some good work to get themselves to where they are now. They've got to use these 2 games this week to really get things going, because they're going to have to hit full speed as soon as they come back in 2020. Yeah, and a pretty good challenge here with St. Mary's. They're a 6-1 team, not the toughest strength of schedule, but this is still a solid basketball team out of Minnesota. No doubt about it. I mean, you've got to. The bottom line is you've got to win games, and they have. They were competitive. Their toughest game so far has been St. John's. That's their loss. They lost by 14 at home to the Johnnies, and they were in that game until they went cold in the middle of the second half. And obviously you give some credit to a top 25 program like St. John's playing good defense, but this is a team in St. Mary's that hasn't necessarily seen Wheaton. We're about ready for the national anthem and the starting lineups. We'll send it onto the court for those.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College for game number 2 of the Wheaton Holiday Tournament. Today's second game features the Cardinals of St. Mary's University from Winona, Minnesota, and your Wheaton College Thunder. At this time, we'd ask everyone to please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First for the visiting Cardinals of St. Mary's University. Number 1, a 5'11 senior from Minneapolis, Kevin Gleason. A 6'7 junior from St. Paul, Minnesota, number 2, Eli Cave. Number 3, a 5'11 sophomore from Minneapolis, Sean Pickford. A 6'5 junior from Phelps, Wisconsin, number 10, Sawyer Rosner. And number 12, a 6'4 junior from Chicago, Kareem Anthony Bello. The Cardinals are coached by Joe Fano. Here are the starters for your Wheaton College Thunder. A 6'6 junior from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, number 2, Cade Alioth. Number 10, a 6'1 junior from Bartlett, Illinois, Colin Uvegas. Number 13, a 5'11 sophomore from Highlands, Colorado, Tyson Cruikshank. Number 20, a 6'1 junior from Orlando, Florida, Naamie Adom. And number 25, a 6'8 senior from Chicago, Anajuan Spencer. The Thunder is coached by Mike Schauer, assisted by John Panner, Joel Smith, and Zach Quam. The officials for tonight's game, Bobby Daw, Troy Boardman, and John Kraswicki.
So the 5 for the Cardinals from St. Mary's, Kevin Gleason, Eli Cave, Sean Pickford, Sawyer Rosner, and Kareem Anthony Bello. For the Thunder is Alioth Uvegas, Cruikshank, Adam, and Spencer.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here as we turn the corner into the second half of the season for Wheaton, Jay Spencer, in a little bit we haven't seen Jay relaxed. And Jay's there's no doubt about it, he's the heart and soul of this team. But Jay, he's kind of been forcing things a little bit. He wants to be the leader of this team, and there's no doubt about it, but he's got to relax and let the game come to him. He's kind of forced things where he's tried to make himself the center of the action. Jay's terrifically talented when he kind of lets the action flow, and I think even the return of Luke Anthony will help that. You continue to add in more scoring threats that I think that takes more pressure off of a guy like Jay Spencer, and I think a relaxed Jay is going to be a pretty productive Jay here in the second half.
And the Thunder with the size advantage. Alioth's going to take it down low and pick up 2 on the first possession. Just 15 seconds there. Make quick work.
Yeah, love the early touch for Cade Alioth there. Get him going early. He's a guy who gets better and better with the more touches he gets.
Pickford looking for Rosner in the corner, but he misses on that one. Adam going the other way. Cruikshank once again looking inside. Alioth can't finish. Rebound Anthony Bello. Pickford probing, now kicks it out to the corner, gets it right back. Didn't even think about shooting there. He was looking to Gleason the whole time, and Gleason can't finish. Alioth pulls down the board.
This should be a pace that favors Wheaton. I think they're a team that plays better when they're up tempo, and St. Mary, is a team that averages over 78 points a game, so they're going to want to get up and down. And I think if they want to get up and down, that should help Wheaton here.
Adam swings it around to Vegas. Cruikshank, the mid-range J, no good. Anthony Bello. Pickford has Cave.
And Eli Cave's their leading scorer at 6'7", but watching the way they run their sets, he and Anajuan Spencer look a little bit like carbon copies of each other. He's going to do it from the outside and try to create a lot.
And more of the NBA-type wing that we're seeing more of. The three from the corner, no good out of the hand of Gleason. Cruikshank gets his pocket picked by Pickford.
Yeah, and Tyson's a guy who loves getting able to run. And
Vegas denies Pickford, tried to go inside. Now the Thunder off to the races.
As I was saying, Cruikshank's a guy who loves to go, and it gets him into trouble sometimes. He's we talked about he's playing with the ball in his hands more as he draws the foul here. But that comes with a responsibility to know what tempo you need and how much you need to push it. And sometimes he can get going a little too fast just because he is so quick. And anytime he's out there, he's going to be one of the quickest guys on the floor, and he wants to use that to his advantage. But there are times like that turnover where you've got to throttle it back a little bit. You've got to be quick and fast, and those aren't the same thing.
Hey, I want to go over here.
Vegas goes 2 of 2 as that second one rattles home. 4-0 Thunder early on in this one. Pickford finds Anthony Bello now inside. No good from Gleason. The follow, nothing either. Vegas picks up that one.
And that perhaps has been one of the bigger surprises in Cruikshank's game is his willingness and ability to get into the rebounding game. He was Wheaton's leading rebounder through the Leaf Fund Classic, and there you see him getting involved, knocking that ball loose away from Rosner there at the end of that play to get Wheaton that possession.
Good look there from Alioth. Had a cutting Vegas, but better defensive awareness from Anthony Bello. Adom with the dribble handoff. Vegas goes up and draws the foul. Gleason got him on the arm.
I guess we should have noted earlier, there's only one working shot clock here tonight, and it's the direction that St. Mary's is going. The shot clock was malfunctioning in the pregame, so they've unplugged it. So Wheaton, the direction they're going here in the first half, they will get an announcement when the clock's at 10, and then they will get a PA countdown from 5. But there's going to be a little bit of adjustment on their part, needing to get used to the end of the shot clock and not being able to see it visually.
Adom gets whistled for the foul on the rebound. So Cardinal ball. They're still looking for their first points. 4-0 Wheaton. A slow start for both sides. Not a lot happening on the offensive end. Cave, 3 from the wing, no good. Rebound, Cruikshank coughs it up. Loose ball, no call yet. And it's going to stay with St. Mary's.
Yeah, that's one if you're Cruikshank, you might just have to take your medicine and carry it out of bounds. You never want to throw the ball back in under the opponent's basket. And that time Wheaton had already broke out the other way, and St. Mary's was going to have an easy layup if that ball stayed in.
Good recovery by Adom there to get back and give Cruikshank a little bit of help.
So there we see Luke Anthony right into the game, and he's going to win them a possession here, deflecting that off the hand of Anthony Bello.
Immediate impact for Anthony.
Anthony was a guy last year in that postseason run that Coach Schauer loved bringing off the bench, even though he was one of their better scorers, because he wanted Luke to get a feel for the flow of the game so that as soon as he checked in, he could go to work. And he's in no rush to rush him back into the starting lineup now. It's working for him, so he sticks with you Vegas tonight, and Anthony's the first guy off the bench.
Alioth gets stripped, last touch Cardinals. So they'll stay underneath the basket for Wheaton. Into the game for the Cardinals is Greg Martin, the junior guard out of Oklahoma City. It was Gleason taking a spot on the bench for that. Spencer working down low on Cave.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for Jay to go to work with because Cave is 6'7" with a long wingspan.
To your point, Rusty, carbon copies. Adom at the end of the shot clock, back iron. Rebound bounces harmlessly out to Anthony Bello.
Yeah, Cave is a little sturdier when you look at his build, so Jay's going to struggle to move him in that post-up game.
And Cave takes it right at Spencer there.
Yeah, great handles for a guy that size. And Wheaton's got to be aware of when he gets the ball in ISO, you've got to have somebody, especially you saw Ali out there, you've got to have someone ready to help.
Anthony coughs it up, taken away by Martin. Martin drops it back, front iron from Rosner, out of bounds.
And this is the St. Mary's team that overall shoots the three ball pretty well. As you'll see Gavin Hawkins into the game for Wheaton, and also for the Cardinals for the first time tonight, you'll see Caden Freetley. They're shooting 38%. That's a pretty good clip to be shooting the three ball. They just haven't had that to go yet, but you've got to be able to find shooters, especially Cave, who's over 50%.
Cruikshank dishes it off down low.
Yeah, really smart there by Luke Anthony. Saw where the help was coming from behind him. Get just a pump fake to get his man airborne and then wait to get his 2 free throws.
And Anthony not afraid of contact down low. He's a tough kid. Anthony will go to the line for a pair. First one rattles around and in. Wheaton just one made field goal so far tonight. That was on the very first play. Cade Alioth down low. Other than that, just been free throws. A pair from Cruikshank, and now the second on the way from Anthony.
Yeah, we've got two teams that look like they haven't played basketball in a while. And again, they haven't. St. Mary's hasn't played since the 19th. Wheaton hasn't played since the 14th. So they've been in finals and at home for a little bit and eating all kinds of cookies. And, I mean, you expect the first half after a break like that to be a little sloppy.
And then forget about the freshman 15, Rusty. It's the Christmas 15.
And it's real.
A long three from Anthony Bello. Bounces harmlessly away. Cruikshank in transition. Lost a handle momentarily. Hands it off to Adom. He's trying to probe. Back to Cruikshank. Floater in the lane. Up and in.
Yeah, that's a patient move by Cruikshank. Sees he's not going to get all the way to the hoop. Just kind of pulls up for that floater. At his speed, and again, you see it a lot over at Elmhurst, Jake Rohde, they're kind of similar players. Rohde's a guy that uses that little mid-range floater to his advantage with his speed.
And Cruikshank,
look out.
Active hands now chasing down the loose ball, and it'll be over and back. He wisely laid off at the last second, realizing that if he touched it, it would have been a free ball.
I think his first step, he thought he could win the race cleanly and get a layup and kind of engaged roadrunner mode there, and then realized, like you said, wisely that he wasn't going to get it clean, and so he just takes the ball in the backcourt there.
Inbound to Vegas. Anthony in the corner. Spencer. Back to Cruikshank. Finds a cutting Hawkins. Takes one dribble. Little jump hook, no good. Rebound pulled down by Freetley.
I like the take, though, from Hawkins because his scouting report is that he's a shooter. So when you can see him work a little into the paint, it changes the way teams have to guard you.
Anthony thought about a three.
And got away with the travel.
Dishes it to Cruikshank. Spencer. Guarded by Chilson now. That Cave is out of the game, and Jay will not get away with that travel.
Yeah, Wheaton went post up the first two possessions, and they haven't gone back to it since. And that's an area where they have some advantages. Again, St. Mary's has height. They don't necessarily have a body type the way Cade Alioth does, so they're going to have to play that with a little bit of a stretch more than a true center in the middle. But if you can get the ball into the post, it really opens up your offense because you have to collapse guys, and Wheaton has enough shooters around a guy like Cade Alioth that they can really open some things up if they can get the post game to be a very central part of this offense.
Yeah, and they have shooters with size so that you aren't just going to have all the big guys clogging the lane. You need someone to follow a Jay Spencer out to the outside. You need someone to follow Gavin Hawkins, just to name a couple of the bigger guys on this Wheaton team. So there's a lot of teams that just can't put the right amount of size out against this Wheaton team to defend a big wing and also defend a player like Alioth down low.
Right, Wheaton's got guys that it's what you call inverting the lineup. It's when you get a four that plays outside, so you have to force them to guard all the way out at four spots instead of two or three. Mm-hmm. And they have those guys with Jay Spencer and with Gavin Hawkins. And even with Thomas Lipscomb, when you go to Lipscomb at his size and his ability to shoot, you invert the lineup quite a bit, and you force teams to really challenge themselves defensively. But that all starts with the post game. You've got to get somebody to collapse to open up the shooter first.
Chilson with it, guarded by Alioth. Martin now on the wing. Looking for a little bit of space. Good defense by Vegas.
That's good defense by Hawkins, too. Slides his feet, stays in front of Freely, who at 6'5", going to match him for size. Hawkins at 6'7", but he moves his feet well, so it's going to be a challenge for Hawkins, and he passes his first test there.
Alioth inside.
Yeah, see, that's a good move. Get your ISO where you can take away the help.
And he gets his pocket pick trying to throw the pass. Strong move by Chilson. Martin swings it around. Freely, good look down low. Baseline fadeaway from Gleason, no good.
I mean, that's a quality look for St. Mary's. You take that as often as you can get it. You want that nice little 10-footer.
Cruikshank a straightaway three, nails it.
And that's been the biggest change with Tyson. We saw it in the Leaf Fun Classic, is that he's got the green light now. A lot of times as a freshman, especially in the way the offense was built last year, he'd be a little bit hesitant to shoot, but he's a guy that they need to shoot that when he gets the open look, and he's been very good at it.
Out and running in transition, found Anthony. Hawkins thought about a three. Vegas throws up a wild layup, just looking for a foul there, but got none.
Yeah, really good defense by Chilson there. A lot of times you see a bigger guy, they're going to extend the arm to try to block the shot. Chilson just challenges vertically where he's not going to get called for a foul.
Both teams kicking up the pace a little bit, a lot of back and forth, but not a whole lot of points, just 10-2 with over 12 minutes left in the first half. Vegas looking for a little bit of space to operate. Finds Cruikshank. And he's going to be bumped out on the perimeter. No shot, but it will stay Wheaton ball. That foul's going to go against Gleason. We're going to get a handful of subs for both teams, 3 and 3. We'll sort all that out when everybody gets set.
And you bring out, I think Mike Schauer kind of realizes where his team's at, so he brings out the spark plug, and Andrew Williams. He's a guy that'll clean the floor for you. He does all the little dirty things you want out of a guard. And he's a guy that just ignites this team when he checks in. So a little bit of a spark plug there, a little bit more defensive lineup.
A dome for three, and he got a wide open look. He's not going to miss many of those.
Yeah, and after he missed his first couple shots, it's good to see Ye step up and hit from distance.
13-2 now. Cave pump fakes, gets past Alioth, gets rejected from behind, and a charge in the process.
There's a guy. Andrew,
who else?
Andrew Williams. See here, steps up, gets on the tracks, doesn't mind the train coming, stares it down and holds on. Again, he just does all the dirty things you want, and I mean that in the best possible way, that he takes charges, he dives for balls, he makes sure he's got a maturity to his game that you don't see from a lot of freshmen.
Here's Williams, up to a dome, around to Lipscomb. Back to a dome. He found some space, floater in the lane. Oh, he's called for the charge now.
Yeah, that's the same thing on the other end. Sean Pickford does a nice job. Sees where this is good team defense. They're going to, a little bit of, well, you got some sheepdog defense. They're going to herd him to the open spot. Pickford sees that it's him, steps up the block, up the lane, and takes the charge.
Now Pickford will take the ball handling duties for the Cardinals. Guarded by Vegas. Back out to Pickford. Now Cave, a deep three, no good. Loose ball, and we're going to get a whistle. That might be Williams for over the back.
And again, that's a shot you want Cave to take. That's a contested three out of the flow of the offense where he's hesitated a little bit. He's not in rhythm. You've got Cade Alioth right there with Link to defend it. That's what you want. This is going to be a tough matchup for Alioth because of Cave's ability to create. But if you can get him to settle for shots like that, that's going to be a win.
Pickford working in the corner, up high from Knight. Inside the Cave, and he walks with it before putting it on the floor. So still 13-2. St. Mary's can't get anything going on offense so far.
Yeah, and some of that is Wheaton's defense, and that St. Mary's where they have unique matchups, Wheaton matches them, and that's where that's a little bit tricky for the Cardinals.
Jay Spencer back in the game, getting a little bit fired up to get out there, knows he can play better. Took a look over at us as he inbounded that ball. And Jay's going to get whistled for the foul, a little too aggressive there.
Yeah, that's a nice take by Cruikshank. Just put a little too much English on the ball to not get it to crawl over the rim. Going to see Zach Jesseth for the first time tonight. He's going to check in, replacing Pickford. Again, St. Mary's is just looking for a combination that can score right now. This is an 11-0 run for the Thunder over about the last, I think, 7.5 minutes or so. It's been a while.
Quick. Rosner working on the outside, has Anthony guarding him, and Anthony in his jersey now looks down low, kicks it out, mites, no good. Loose ball.
That's a smart play by Vegas there.
Yeah, going up over the top, not trying to grab the ball and risk the foul, but just poking at it.
Well, it's easy in that case. You want to go get the basketball, so you would go vertically as he's coming back. That's going to get you over the back, but he sees the ball exposed and just spikes it. At the very least, you send the ball out of bounds and you can regroup defensively.
Instead, it turns into a great play as Cruikshank got pushed out of bounds, so it'll be Thunder ball.
Yeah, foul ends up getting called on Anthony Bello at the tail end of that play. And it's an unnecessary one because he's probably taking that ball out of bounds. Yep.
Anthony shuffle step before he got his shot off, trying to get himself set, but just took one too many.
Yeah, I got the Fred Flintstone going there. He just got the wheels turning to try to get the footsteps right and just didn't have anywhere to go as Lipscomb checks back out. So it's Cruikshank, Anthony, Vegas, Spencer, and Alioth for Wheaton.
Working with it now is Jesseth. Gets it out to Anthony Bello.
And if they've got a matchup advantage somewhere, it's Anthony Bello. At 6'4", he's being guarded by the 6'1" Vegas. And there it is again.
A lot of that going on tonight. We've seen, 4 travels called now?
Again, this has all the looks of a post-layoff game. Fortunately for Wheaton, they at least got their defense going in this one because this is not a film you're going to send to the Naismith.
Vegas with it. Cruikshank swings it around to Spencer. Back to Vegas. He hesitated. Spencer, a quick three. Looked at it and liked it and hit it.
That's where you want Jay Spencer to settle in. Take your spots there. Vegas does a nice job of driving. He doesn't have to get to the rim, but he has to do just enough to get the help defense to come down, and it does. And then Jay just relaxes and gets the shot he needs.
And a wild shot from Anthony Bello. Say it stays with St. Mary's off the tip.
Nick falls into the game for the first time again. The Cardinals just looking for a combination here.
And a 6'7" freshman from Plymouth, Wisconsin.
They're over 7 minutes since their lone basket of the game, and this is a 14-0 run.
A deep three. They just can't get anything to go.
They're good looks. Most of their looks have been good looks. They just haven't gotten them to go.
Anthony thought about a three. Drives in, kicks it out. Cruikshank, three, nails it.
Yeah, his trigger is so fast. It's one of the things that's impressive about Cruikshank is he gets rid of the shot so fast, and it's not out of rhythm. That's a good drive by Anthony using the shot fake to get some space.
And Spencer got a piece of that one. Oh, they're going to whistle him for that. I'm not so sure about that. It looked clean. We'll get another look. You see Spencer rotate over.
Yeah, that's one where I think you're anticipating contact, and it doesn't quite show up. That's one where Luke Anthony, again, you're talking about finding rhythm. That's one where Anthony's got to step in and hold his ground and take a charge. They've got him funneled right to him, and he just kind of gives him the Olay, and that leads to the layup. Instead, step up, take the charge. Get your team that possession.
Rosner knocked down the first, so the scoring drought over, but the field goal drought still well and good. Well, good if you're a Thunder fan, at least.
As Pickford checks back in for the Cardinals, so that ends a 17-0 run for the Thunder.
Cruikshank guarded by Martin. Anthony thought about it for a second, then put one up short.
Yeah, that's
saved by Alioth, but
that's Luke trying to say that's a little bit of I haven't shot yet, and got to get the feel, got to get that one out of the way. Once he got that one out of the way against North Park, he hit his next 4. So there are good things coming for Luke Anthony if recent history proves anything.
Andrew Williams getting set to come back into the game as Pickford launches a 3, and he knocks that one down. So the backstay opening up a little bit for the Cardinals. 19-7 your score, 7:50 to play in the first half.
Yeah, they were 1 of 18 from the field before that, so sheer average said one of those had to go.
Alioth driving down low, a beautiful up and under move to get around Falls.
Yeah, Nick Falls is a freshman, so that's where you've got to make some hay there with Cade Alioth. If they get that matchup again, you could see by the way Nick Falls kind of reacted to that he's not used to being back down in that way. And Alioth's going to get whatever he wants out of that matchup.
Vegas with some solid defense on Pickford. It's kicked out to Cave. Cave driving in, flips one up, but drew the foul. So he'll go to the line to shoot a pair.
Yeah, it's good defense, but again, Hawkins has to step in that little bit. You've got to take that lane away and force him to kick. Wheaton's done a nice job, especially with Cave, of getting him to stop the ball in his hand so that he's trying to create and he's slowing the flow of the offense down while he tries to get his looks. But then you've got to be able to have the help defense in line where it needs to be.
Cave misses the first off the back iron as Adome and Williams both re-enter for the Thunder. And Cave good on the second, 21-8 now.
Yeah, Cave for all his accolades from the three-point line, not a sniper from the free throw line, just 65% as he splits that pair.
Hawkins into the corner for Adome. Inside, Alioth found Williams, and Alioth comes flying through.
Yeah, they've changed to a zone here, and it was a really good recognition by Wheaton to get into that first good zone look.
That ball will go right back to Wheaton. Good active hands on defense for Greg Martin. Just couldn't quite track that one down.
Well, they've got a team that, if they want to, is pretty well built for a 1-3-1. If you can stick someone like Cave at the top. Shot clock's only at 4. You got to remember the shot clock is out this direction.
And Adome couldn't get it off. Dribbled right into the trap. I'm not sure if he couldn't hear his teammates shouting out the shot clock.
Well, he could. He just ran into trouble, and some help defense brought it to him. Smart defense by St. Mary's, knowing there wasn't time on the clock to make a pass, so they jumped him to make sure he wasn't able to get the shot off.
Cave working on the right wing. Goes in on Alioth and gets a floater to go. So Cave's starting to heat up here a little bit. Starting to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. Adome thought about a corner 3. And this time he's going to take it and make it.
Good patient offense. Get it into the middle, collapse the zone, and then you've got a quick swing. And it comes right back for the same look. It's a 3-2 zone where they're putting Cave at the top and just trying to extend the Thunder around the top of the perimeter, but it's very patient, as there's also a very patient take by Falls.
Yeah, good pump fake, got Hawkins in the air. And good on Hawkins to avoid the foul in that situation. It's really easy for the offensive player to just duck underneath there. As Alioth goes up and he draws the foul and one. Gets the freshman reaching a little bit. You can see right there on the left hand of Falls on the left arm of Alioth. Just enough to get the whistle.
So Wheaton will reset the lineup a little bit here. Anthony Cruikshank and Lipscomb into the game to stay with Alioth and Adome. And again, Cade Alioth is a guy who, coming into this year, had to be the kind of player he's been this year. He had to become that forceful center that Wheaton needs. They would have had 2 of them had Spencer Peterson made it out of football healthy, because Peterson's a guy that can step out to shoot the 3, but also kind of post up and get that game going underneath. But Cade Alioth's really their lone body that can do that consistently now. So having him, especially in the zone, be able to get assertive like that and find space for a shot is a good sign for the Thunder.
Ball loose down low. Alioth comes up with it.
That's also his 8th rebound of the night.
Cruikshank pushing ahead. And split the trap and drew the foul. It was Cave and Pickford who are harassing him just past midcourt. And you can see right there, Cave with the reach in, got him on over the top.
So Wheaton's into the bonus now, shooting the 1-and-1, the 8th foul on the Cardinals. We're going to see Anthony Bello come back in for Pickford. 2 fouls on Gleason and Cave, 2 on Adome and Spencer for the Thunder. They're going to keep Cave in the game with his 2 fouls.
Cruikshank hits the first. 28-12 now.
Wheaton's been very good from the free throw line this year, almost 77%. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys. They've made a very concerted effort to improve at that spot on the floor. And especially when you've got the creative drive guys that they have with Cruikshank and Adome, that's going to be necessary for them to continue to have success in very physical CCIW. This is where Wheaton's going to have to be smart with their offensive looks. They don't have that inside 5 guy. So against the zone, they've got 5 shooters on the floor, and Vegas is really more of a creator than he is a shooter. So they've just got to stay disciplined with their zone offense and wait for the right look.
Martin finds some space, wisely kicks it out. Anthony Bello takes his time and drills the corner 3. Cruikshank quickly the other way, finds Vegas. Back to Cruikshank. Anthony. And Anthony walks with it again. Kind of got the chair pulled out on him as he was trying to get some contact.
Yeah, Anthony Bello saw him kind of lean into him and cut him off and knew exactly what he was hoping for. And you're right, you just kind of saw him walk him out of the way and just let Anthony turn it over. And again, these are rhythm things. These are things that will come with more reps and more playing time for Luke.
Martin working against Cruikshank. Over to Rosner.
Given how this game started, if you're St. Mary's, you want to get to halftime only down 10 or so, and you're right on the verge of getting there. If you can get there trailing by single digits, you feel pretty good about your first half.
Yeah, considering you didn't score your second basket until more than halfway through the first half. Lipscomb, long 3, and he nails it.
Good to see Thomas Lipscomb get some early run and get into the scoring column. He's a guy with tremendous upside. He just hasn't been in the right spots defensively. So with Coach Schauer, you've got to be able to be in the right spots defensively. But he's a guy that if they can get him into the rotation confidently, he's a guy that can light up the score sheet.
Anthony Bello for another 3, gets his own miss. Kicks it out to Falls, around to Rosner. That one's short. And we're going to get a whistle away from the ball. I think that one's going to go against Chilson. We'll give it to Anthony Bello. So it'll be a 1-and-1 with the loose ball. It'll send Colin Uvegas to the line. .342 on the clock. That's the 9th foul on the Cardinals. Wheaton's been in the bonus for a few now. First one is good. Vegas earns a second. And misses second off the back iron. Rebound Chilson. Martin brings it across midcourt. Kicks it out. Rosner looking inside. Good active hands from Alioth. Now pushed ahead, Uvegas. Swings it out, Williams. Hawkins straight on 3, boom.
Yeah, and that's what Gavin Hawkins can really become a weapon, especially against the zone defense, because he's a big guy. You kind of lose track of him a little bit when he's floating around the perimeter because you don't expect him to be that threat. And after struggling early, he has really found his shot in the last few games.
Little 7-0 run here for the Thunder.
Boy, really good help and recover from Alioth there.
Martin gets it out to Rosner. Back to Martin. 6 on the clock. He pulls up from 3, drills it with the foul.
Okay, that's where Anthony Williams, you just got to get out of the way. He does kick the feet out a little bit, but you've just got to get out of the way and give him room to land. And if he makes it, he makes it, but you challenge, and that's it.
Greg Martin, the 6-foot junior, at the line, and he finishes off his 4-point play. Cruikshank working on Martin. Anthony swings it back to Cruikshank. Alias sets a screen. Cruikshank kicks it out. Anthony for 3, rounds it home.
There you go. That's a good answer, too. Good answer, and good to see Luke Anthony get that one to go down.
39-21, your score, just over 2 to play in the first half. Caves working on Alioth. They're going to ISO him. Drives right, kicks it out. Gleason for 3, got that one to go.
Yeah, once they were able to get that first one to go, you started to see the body language pick up a little bit for St. Mary's, and they're a team that can score in bunches, so Wheaton's got to be careful how they close the half.
Hawkins, a 3 of his own, airmails that one. Martin pushed ahead. Cave working inside, draws the foul. Good job by Hawkins to contest. But Cave will go to the line to shoot 2. Cave sends the first one off the back iron. To your point, Rusty, surprisingly not a great free throw shooter considering how well he can shoot from outside.
Yeah, it's a different game than it is. It's a mental game as he misses both there.
And visibly upset with that one.
Yeah, that was a good opportunity. Missed opportunity there for the Cardinals.
Alioth gets it to Anthony, a straight-on 3, and he's starting to heat up now.
Yeah, that's what you love to see. And we kind of mentioned it when he forced the first one. He kind of wants to get that one out of the way. Just see the ball off the fingers and say, okay, I got to just adjust this one thing, and then kind of fall in that. Yeah, and then you hit the next 2. And like we said, once he missed that one, all of a sudden he scored 13 straight points against North Park in their last game on the 14th. So once you see him get going, this offense really takes on a whole other dimension.
42-24. Just a few minutes ago we were talking about, hey, if St. Mary's can get within 10, if they can even get to single digits, they got to be real happy.
Well, now you got to be happy with 15.
Wheaton came alive. I think maybe looked up at the scoreboard and went, wait a minute, we need to do something.
Yeah, you adjust your expectations at this point and say, all right, 15's okay, and you just kind of take your medicine, and it is what it is, and you regroup and find how you're going to attack them in the second half. But the danger for them here is if they don't get a score here, all of a sudden you could be down 20 at halftime, and mentally that's a whole other area. This is a big mentally for St. Mary's. This is a huge possession because if you can get to 15, you're feeling okay. We're down a lot. We're still at 15. It's not that bad. If you end up at 20, though, it feels a whole different way.
St. Mary's ball out of the timeout. Martin's going to let this one roll towards midcourt, conserve some clock.
Oh, yeah, they're in 2-for-1 territory here.
An offensive foul. That's going to go against Chilson, I believe. Happened away from the ball. And that's the 10th foul.
Yeah, it's going to be on the screen. He just sticks that hip out. You see it at the very start of that replay.
That's actually Brady Stevens, the 6'3 guard, the junior from St. James, Minnesota. And that's an offensive foul. Wheaton will not shoot. However, that's the 10th foul, so double bonus. Next defensive foul.
And they've gone back to man, so we'll see if this leads to a little more offensive look to create for a guy like Cruikshank.
Anthony drives into the lane, throws up a floater, can't get it to go. Alioth with a strong rebound and putback.
That's not a play he makes last year. That's a play that he's made because he's dedicated himself to the offseason, and he's improved his body to a way that he can handle that. That's a huge shot for St. Mary's.
Yeah, Brady Stevens, after committing the costly foul last time on the offensive side, comes up firing.
Wheaton can, if they go fast, can go 2 for 1, even though it looks like they're happy to settle for one good look.
Remember, they can't see the shot clock. They can kind of see the game clock up and over to the right from the way they're facing.
Yeah, there's a 15-second differential.
An offensive foul will make sure that they get nothing.
And St. Mary's will have the last possession. This is a big one again because they're right where they were. 17, Now they can get it to 15 or below.
44-27, a 3 gets it to 14, a bucket gets it to 15. Big stop opportunity here for Wheaton. They can really claim all the momentum going into halftime with the stop here.
Yeah, they certainly can. There's a lot riding on this for St. Mary's here.
Gleason swings it around to Chilson. Cave working up high on Alioth. He's got to take a long 3, not close. There's still plenty of time on the shot clock. Martin driving in, lost it, throws it up.
That's a nice shot by Uvegas. Uvegas gets his hands in there and throws the dribble off kilter and then takes away the drive. So that's a nice job by Wheaton to close that half defensively after a very strong defensive start. What you don't love is that they got 25 points in the last. If you take that last 9 minutes or so, they're on pace for 55 points that half. So you want to slow that down, but fortunately you banked the first 10 minutes before you got to that point. So very good first half there for the Thunder.
Yeah, just 2 points in the first 10 or 11 minutes. Can't ask for much more than that. We'll take a quick break from halftime here in King Arena. I'm Nate Stein alongside Rusty Lindsay. You're watching the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network.
Be inspired as you seek to make a difference in the lives of children as an elementary, middle, or high school teacher.
Be challenged by a strong academic program that prepares you for the leadership skills needed to lead a classroom.
Be equipped with the strategies and tools from experienced professors in a program that boasts a 100% passing rate for all licensure exams.
Be inspired to lead others to the Christian faith as professional English language teachers serving across the globe.
Be challenged as you dive deep into learning about other cultures while understanding how to create the bridge between English and the native language of your students.
Be equipped as you gain valuable skills and lessons from leading researchers and teachers in the field who have decades of experience and whose work spans 6 continents.
Welcome back inside King Arena. I'm Rusty Lindsay, joined with Nate Stein. We're at halftime. The Wheaton Thunder men's basketball team leads St. Mary's 44-27 in their first game of the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Classic. And for those of you who have been a viewer of Wheaton Hoops and the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network, Nate's is a name that you will likely remember. Nate was a former broadcaster here for WTSN. And has gone on to now run the Valor Sports Network at Valor High School out in Denver, Colorado. So, Nate, for those, obviously, who recognize your name, and you do have a little brand recognition around here.
All right.
for better or worse.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead and tell people what you've been up to and what your role is with the Valor Sports Network.
Yeah, so my official title sounds a lot more important than it actually is. It's program lead for the Valor Sports Network at Valor Christian High School. Basically, I am in charge of scheduling our broadcast, making sure everything gets set up, supervising the broadcasts themselves. I teach the broadcasting class, so I have a group of 15 to 20 students each semester that I kind of get to coach up and train on some of the points of broadcasting. It's not just being on air, which I found super cool. I've been able to learn a little bit more as I've gone, whether it's running a camera or more on the production side. We get to use some really awesome gear. I mean, we're using the NewTek TriCaster TC1, which is some of the newest equipment that they've come out with. It's been incredible. I mean, I went to Valor, so being back there, being back at the class where I actually started my broadcast career, it's really special.
And I mean, you were involved with the Valor Sports Network, obviously, before you came to Wheaton, and the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network was still in its infancy.
Yep.
When you came here, and you were actually the winner of the Lorenz Scholarship as well. For those who haven't necessarily heard, because again, it's a relatively new scholarship named after the late Dave Lorenz, who was a huge fan of Wheaton athletics and a huge supporter. But tell everyone what that experience was like, getting to be a lead here for the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network, but also getting to know the Lorenz family a little bit through that experience.
Getting to know the Lorenz family was incredible. We've had the opportunity here at Wheaton to have a scholarship dinner for students who earn kind of extra academic scholarships, like something outside the classroom. For me, it was broadcasting. And just to hang out with the Lorenz family, have dinner with them once or twice a year, and just talk about what this program would have meant to Dave and what all the athletic programs did mean to Dave during his lifetime, and to kind of be the one to carry on that legacy, it was incredible. I mean, just to see the impact that it had on his family, to have Dave's name remembered in that way and kind of still put out there to the Wheaton Athletics family, that was definitely one of the most special things for me when I was a broadcaster here at Wheaton.
And how did your experience with the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network? You obviously got a chance to call basketball, and you called some volleyball as you had a background there, and soccer, and tons of postseason experience. How did that prep you for your role with VSN?
It was the best prep I could have possibly gotten. I mean, going out and calling NCAA tournament games, or having to fill in a couple different roles, whether it's going color commentary on volleyball, then running over to be on the sideline for football and talk to some of the coaches and try to get insider info there, or all the way even to in the spring a couple times having to call baseball games alone, being forced to kind of put my hands in all these different cookie jars and get comfortable doing whatever was needed of me. It put me in a really good situation to teach the different roles at the Valor Sports Network and within the classroom, and really give some of the younger kids a little bit of confidence. Say, hey, you can go on air and you might sound kind of funny at first. You might feel like you're doing a terrible job, but you just have to get out there and do it. You can say something silly, but the thing is, nobody's going to remember it in 30 seconds because they're paying attention to the game. If you say something good, that's what they'll remember. So it's kind of the opposite of a catch-22, where broadcasters, when you do something good, people are like, oh, that was a great call, remember that? But when you say something kind of dumb, it just gets ignored. It's kind of a perfect scenario.
Well, Nate, we're glad to have you back. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to you to reset us here with a look at the first half stats and help us get things ready here for the second half.
Thank you, Rusty. It's great to be back. We're just a few minutes away from the second half of action. It was a strong first at least 11 minutes from the Thunder. They went on a 17-2 run to start this game. The St. Mary's Cardinals didn't hit their second basket of the game until there was about 8.5 minutes left. And we talked a lot in the first half, Rusty, about how Coach Fano was just looking for a combination that would put the ball in the basket. And now you look at their first half stats, they went 13 deep in the first 20 minutes. That's a number that you sometimes see in the end of a blowout, where you can throw in kind of your up 30, down 30 guys and give some of the younger kids on the roster a little bit more experience. It wasn't quite down 30, it was down 15, but Coach Fano just looking for a spark. He found it a little bit, but still not a pretty balanced scoring. Nobody really going out and doing everything for the Cardinals. Eli Cave, their leading scorer, has 5. He's their leading scorer tonight as well, but just 27 points, everybody 5 or below.
Yeah, and when you look at Wheaton, they got 12 from Cruikshank, 9 from Alioth, 7 from Luke Anthony, 6 from Niamie Adom. This is what this team is when they're at their best. Last year, obviously, you wanted Aston's going to be 20 or more, and then who's going to be that second guy just to maybe get into double digits? And if you could get a third into double digits, then you were really feeling good about things. This is a team that on any given night can get 4 to 5 guys in that category, and they're spreading the offense around well, and they're moving the ball well. We saw St. Mary's have to go to a zone a little bit to try to slow that down. Wheaton still found the holes in the zone. So Wheaton's got to continue to look to share the love here in the second half.
St. Mary's will start with the ball. Rosnan inbounds to Cave. Handoff to Pickford. Around to Gleason. A little bit better motion right off the bat from the Cardinals.
For St. Mary's, it's a little bit of a hitter's approach here. You got to just go in first at bat of the game. You got to restart, find things to build off of here. And immediately they go into Cave. They get a bucket. You've got some things. You've got something to step on here. But again, for them though, you've got to micromanage this game. by the 16-minute mark, you want to have it cut down to maybe 13 or 12. By the 8-minute mark, you want it down to 7 or 8. You kind of start to chip away and set these milestones for every 4 or 5 minutes of this game where you're not trying to make it all up at once.
Adome takes the handoff, gets it down low to Vegas, and Cruikshank driving through the lane got knocked. First foul real quick from St. Mary's. Remember, they went into the bonus pretty early on. I think it was 5.5 minutes left. They got their 8th foul.
And it's already going to be the 3rd on Anthony Bello.
Vegas around to Cruikshank. Straightaway 3, back iron. Alioth rising up to get that one. A tangle of limbs, and I believe there's going to be a foul going against Sawyer Rusner.
Yeah, and he takes it away from his teammate there. Anajuan Spencer joined him in the clouds there, and Alioth just took it away. I like that elevator screen action for Cruikshank. He shoots the ball really well from straight away. If you can free him up on that coming off the baseline in the inbound, that's a really nice look for Wheaton.
Cruikshank swings it to Alioth. Adome lasers a 3 and somehow gets that one to go. Front iron, backboard, and then drop through, barely touching the net.
Yeah, when it's going, it's going. And that's, like you said, touched a little bit of everything and then dropped through. St. Mary's, on the meantime, is going to have to deal with the shot clock being out on their end. But they're a team that likes to play with pace. I wouldn't anticipate them wanting the shot clock to get down into that red zone too often here in the second half.
Alioth whistle for the foul here. Aggressive drive by Cave. And he goes down hard. Couldn't quite finish with the left hand, so I'll shoot a pair.
Well, if you're Cave and you can get to the rack, you try to just continue to go hard, get your buckets, try to get guys in foul trouble. You've got Spencer with 2 and now Alioth with 2. If you can send one of those to the bench for a few minutes, you open the floor up for yourself a little bit. So if I'm St. Mary's, I continue to find ways to get Eli Cave into some driving space.
Cave hit the first. Struggles from the free throw line. It's been well documented already in tonight's game. Gone 1 of 2, 0 of 2, and now 1 of 2 again this trip. Adome. Out to Spencer. And interesting that they have Cave on Adome. It's going to pay off here as Adome walks with it.
Well, Cave's an interesting matchup because Adome's a guy who's very creative, and that pull-up game plays really well around the elbows and the free throw line, or he can get to the basket. So with Cave, you get some length on him, where even if he gets thrown off a little bit, he can still challenge shots and force him to get rid of the ball.
And when the Cardinals are on offense, they're sticking Spencer on him. And he does a good job there, forces a turnover as Cave was pivoting back and forth and just lost that anchor foot.
Yeah, Jay's done a nice job when he's been in the game. Again, he picked up the 2 fouls in the first half, so he didn't play a ton of minutes, only in the game for 8 minutes in the first half, but he's the right guy to be matched up with the length of Eli Cave.
Spencer floats a pass down low, looking for Vegas. Tipped away by Rosner. Inbound to Alioth. Alioth lost it. Rosner with active hands that entire possession. Cave now with it. Thought about a 3.
That's 2 lazy passes from the bigs, both on the one that got knocked away and that one. Ooh, what a finish.
Yeah, Cave sprawling across the floor. Flipped it up and over the outstretched hand of Spencer. And a little bit of energy from the St. Mary's bench now.
Well, you talk about breaking this thing down, all right? And you're getting you're a minute and a half away from that first milestone. If you try to break it into fifths, and if you can get it below 15 to start there, that's your moment. So this is a possession with a lot of weight to it to the Cardinals.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Spencer hands it off. Cruikshank takes a 3. Back iron, right. Rebound, Chilson.
Doors open now. Just try. You want to continue to get Eli Cave good looks. Good defense.
Pickford had nowhere to go. Vegas has been really stellar on that end of the floor today. Spencer guarding Cave. Cave goes right this time and gets it to go. He's scoring at will to start the second half.
Well, they're going 5. It's a 5-0 look. They're going to spread it out. They're going to get Cade Alioth away from the basket, so it's really one-on-one with no help.
The Dome drives in. Spencer spins down low, left, no good. Gets his own rebound. What a play to save that one.
Great fight by Jay Spencer there, and he's upset because he thought he was fouled. But that's just great fight. You're upset with yourself. You missed the first look. You stay in the play. You keep fighting. win yourself and your team another possession.
Anthony back in the game for Vegas.
Again, if you're St. Mary's, this is a big stop. Because then if you can get the stop here, you're looking at an opportunity to get back to 10 even on the next trip down.
15 on the shot clock. Cruikshank back to Adome. Guarded by Chilson. He drives in, loses the ball. It'll stay with Wheaton. But swarming defense out of the Cardinals to kick off the second half.
Yeah, they look like they found their legs now and they're ready to go. The energy is there. They're moving with purpose. And they're communicating. That was really the big thing early, is there wasn't a whole lot of defensive communication from them.
Adome flips one up with the left. Spencer.
And again, Spencer fighting and wins them 2 points. That's a huge play by Jay Spencer just to tip the ball away.
Yeah, he went up. Looked like he was going to go for the tip slam in a perfect world. But, I mean, does the next best thing, which is keep the ball away from Caves. It ends up in Adome's lap. And he can just take one hop stepping in.
Yeah, again, like you said, he wanted the tip slam. He loves that chance to go up and get it. And we've seen him get it a couple times in his career, but he doesn't get it. He just stays in position and he just knocks it away enough that Niamey Adome is right there and ready. Now, this is a smart timeout by Mike Schauer. He talks about something he learned from his predecessor, Bill Harris, is you want that good energy in the huddle. And on the flip side, you saw the energy that St. Mary's took in. They were building, and all of a sudden they give up that second chance there, and they're arguing with each other going back into the huddle. That's a different vibe than where they were just a few seconds prior. But Mike Schauer gets his team refocused, gets them reset for the defensive end here.
Cave finds Gleason. Inside had Rosner. Loose ball. Adome comes up with it. Some pressure from Pickford. Cruikshank thought about it. Good defense by Cave. Up high. Anthony. Good.
And that's three of the next. He's hit the next three since
the next
break.
There you go. One more, and he matched his output at North Park in that same situation.
Shoot or shoot, and that's exactly what Luke Anthony does. He's a tremendous athlete. What he did in that North Park game was, it's hard to wrap your mind around.
As Jay Spencer rejects that one, pushed ahead. Anthony, easy finish. Great ball movement. It starts on the defensive end. Spencer lying in wait. No chance that ball was getting
And you
past
talk
him.
about little things, and games like this come down to little things, even when there's big spreads. St. Mary's had a chance to get the ball, go down, and make it a 10-point game. They couldn't get the rebound 3 times, and Wheaton has answered with a 7-0 run to push it right back to 20.
And they have a chance to push it even farther here after a sloppy turnover. The Dome gets it in to Hawkins. He'll give it right back. Alioth. Dribble handoff to Anthony. Thought about a 3 there. Gets it inside. Cruikshank somehow got out of that mass of bodies in blue. Adome driving in.
Oh.
And I'm going to say he walked with that one. We'll get another look. It was a pretty good move.
That's tough. That probably goes either way because there's a hand on the ball, so they're going to let that go a little bit. That's quite frankly, I'm happy for a no call there, and that turns into a travel. You want to let guys play a little bit. And that's I think probably the right call.
Martin going to be running the point. He's guarded by Cruikshank. Swings into the corner. And nothing but air from Freetley. Resetting with Caves. Inside working on Alioth. And they're going to whistle Alioth for the foul. Didn't see a whole lot there. Might have been something with Alioth's offhand that was blocked off in the replay.
Yeah, but there you get the third on Alioth, so you're going to get a couple minutes with him off the floor. And that should open things up. Now Wheaton's going to come back with Jay Spencer here, so should open things up a little bit for St. Mary's, but it's also going to open things up for the Wheaton offense because they lose that inside presence.
Andrew Williams also back into the game. And Caves goes 1 of 2 once again. Ahead to Spencer, looking inside. Caves got a hand of it. Williams kicks it out. Cruikshank falling into the bench, no good. Spencer came flying through but couldn't corral it. Martin dishes it back out. Spencer goes up and gets another one. And Spencer's going to stay down and patrol the paint a little bit. He's got 2 blocks on the night, both right at the rim, both pretty aggressive.
Well, with Elliott Thaw, he's going to be the guy that anchors that, so you change the matchups a little bit. You give him a little more freedom to kind of roam and go get balls like that.
Baseline jumper knocks it down over Caves.
And that's the patience you want to see him take, because he kind of assesses, slows things down, waits to see how Cave's going to defend him. All of a sudden gets room for the jumper, and he's very good at that baseline jumper.
Martin with a nice move to get around Cruikshank. I think he was expecting a little bit of help. He didn't wall off as well as he could have.
He was, but it's smart on both ends. For Martin, he keeps going through contact, and eventually Cruikshank has to let him go or draw the foul. And then it's smart by Cruikshank not to turn that into a three-point play.
Foul there. Pickford going after Williams a little bit. The freshman doing a good job of keeping that ball safe.
So it's Martin, Stevens, Freetley, Pickford, and Cave on the floor for the Cardinals. Lipscomb, Anthony, Cruikshank, Vegas, and Hawkins countering for Wheaton.
Cruikshank going in, a little Euro step, couldn't get that to go. Ball loose, Caves finally comes down with it. Martin seeking out contact, kicks it out, Cave. And a reach before the shot. I think that's going to go against Hawkins. You'll see right here.
It's going to go against Vegas.
No, Vegas on the opposite side. They had him flanked, and Lipscomb was waiting dead ahead.
So Cruikshank going to be replaced by Adome with 13 minutes left. Wheaton's led by as many as 20 here in the second half. St. Mary's had it down to 13. And then Wheaton answered with a 7-0 run. Right now it's at 19, so St. Mary's has to find a way to get another run.
Good active defense from Vegas. They'll stay with the Cardinals. Just 12 seconds on the clock. Cave working on Vegas. Throws it off the rim, so that'll get the reset, but I don't think he meant to.
That's a good point. That would have been a reset.
Hawkins misses the wing three. Quickly the other way. The Cardinals. Little floater in the lane, and Cave got that one to go.
And you're right here again in a possession that could swing you from 15 to 20. And you talk, these are these milestone possessions when you're trying to come back.
Pickford up on Vegas. Adome, nice cross in the lane.
That's a foul.
Off the back iron, no whistle.
You could have taken your pick of any 3 fouls there on Pickford, but got to take advantage now for St. Mary's.
Freetley dribbles it off Hawkins. And that'll bring Jay Spencer back into the game. Inside 12 to play in regulation. Cave with a nice look inside. Spencer couldn't quite rotate back in time. Stevens will get them back to 15. There's
right,
that milestone.
Yeah, now you've got to add stops on scores, though. Got to stack scores and stops.
Adome at the top of the key. Martin guarding him. Spencer thought about a 3. Dished it to Vegas. Back out. Spencer, wide open look. Got it.
That's a big one for Wheaton. You got to, for Wheaton, anytime you can answer these runs, it's big.
So back up to 18. The advantage for the Thunder. Cave working on Vegas. Spencer not too far away. Martin goes in. Wild shot, no good. Adome pulls that one down.
And it's kind of been cave or bust for their offense here in the second half, but
Lipscomb, a corner 3, no good. Stevens there. Martin pushing the pace. Kicks it out to the corner. Anthony Bello got nothing. Steven able to get the rebound. So 15 seconds on the shot clock, 59-41. Nice pump fake from Cave, but he can't get that one to go as the ball bounces around to Spencer. Vegas directing traffic up top, dribble handoff to a dome. Corner look for Anthony, misses that one, would have been his 4th straight 3.
For St. Mary's, they've got to get somebody other than Cave to step up. Cave's got 15 of their 41.
Cave with the pump fake, drives in, make that 17. 59-43, we'll get a timeout.
Well, he's got 12 of their 16 here in the second half. So if they want to make a serious run at this, they've got to have a second scorer. You look at their scoring numbers, they've had Raheem Anthony, who's unavailable coming into tonight. So it's got to be Cave, and then Anthony Bello's the third guy at just shy of 10 points a game. So somebody's got to step up to take the scoring load off of Eli Cave for the Cardinals. For Wheaton, on the other end, you've got to just continue to run your looks. The biggest thing for Wheaton is you can't take the foot off the gas yet, because this is the area where if you start to just run clock and try to run your possessions down, you get a little conservative, and that opens up comebacks. For Wheaton, continue to run your sets, get those early looks in the shot clock if they're there.
Yeah, and this is around the time where you look up, you go, all right, we're up by 16. We're doing all right. Only 9:45 left. We're halfway through the second half. We probably can start to take it off. That's what you got to avoid, to your point, Rusty. You need to keep going until you see that St. Mary's just going, yeah, we're done with this one. We'll play at 2 tomorrow, not 4.
Yeah, that's the big thing is both of these teams know conference is coming, so these aren't just throwaway games. Especially for Wheaton, they're not throwaway games because Wheaton is a team with Pool C aspirations and tournament aspirations, not just even Pool C, Pool A, Pool C. So you've got to win these games because you've got to give yourself those wins to boost the winning percentage. These are you've got to have two wins this weekend for Wheaton.
Yeah, especially in a conference like the CCIW, gives you that much more wiggle room in one of the best conferences in the country.
Well, it does, and unfortunately the loss to Ripon is what really puts you behind the 8 ball, because that's tough in that Jay was sick and he was unable to play. They lose that game in overtime, and then you let the Lake Forest game get away. So your 2 losses are from teams that aren't going to help you much historically in the Pool C picture, so they show up as bad losses. So now you've got to make up for it.
Yeah, great move there from Alioth. Old school basketball, backing down Cave and going up over the top with a little skyhook.
And again, going back to that look, they haven't shown many post looks in this game, so it's good to go back to it. There you go.
That's a beautiful pass from Cave to find a cutting Martin.
Yeah, you need more of that. You've got to find action away from the ball. If he's going to create, you've got to find action elsewhere to make defenders continue defending and not be able to help.
Spencer gets it inside to Alioth. Cruikshank, too strong on the 3, rebound Anthony Bello.
Big possession here for St. Mary's if you can get it under 15.
They're hanging right around that 15-16 since they hit that milestone initially.
Well, and it starts to get demoralizing when you keep leading up to it and keep backing away from it. Once you can break through, there's a little boost that comes with each little milestone you get.
Another foul on Spencer will bring Gavin Hawken back into the game. That's his 3rd. Remember, Alioth's also playing with 3.
Well, you're to the point in the game now where 3 fouls doesn't really matter. It really matters until you get to about the 14-minute mark, and then you feel comfortable rolling them back out there. So you're going to see Hawkins and Anthony back in for Vegas and Spencer. St. Mary's started this game 1 of 18 from the field. Since then, they are 16 of 29.
14-point game now.
So you take away that start, they're shooting around 65-70%. You feel pretty good about that. The problem is that start exists.
You can't just take it away. As Alioth goes up and over Caves once again.
Yeah, that's bully ball. That's getting to your spot. The biggest way that you can stop that is you've got to block a cutter. When you let cutters go through like that, you let them get to the position they want on the floor. With Cade Alioth, you've got to block a cutter and not let him get to that spot. Once he gets to that spot, he's got exactly what he wants, but you can't let him get to the floor where he wants to be like that.
And I know you folks at home aren't seeing it because you're seeing the Wheaton huddle. I watched Cave walk back over to his huddle, and he looked at every single person on his coaching staff and went, what can I do?
Right.
How do I stop this?
Right, because Cade Alioth, like we talked about earlier, dedicated himself to the weight room, dedicated himself to the offseason, getting a ton better, and he has. He's averaging near a double-double, and right now tonight he's got 11 rebounds and 13 points, so he's got his double-double again for the night. But that's the biggest improvement with him is he's become a better finisher, and he's got the better upper body strength that he can go through that contact. If you're Cave, you're right. You know, you're playing with 2 fouls early. He still has just he's got the 3 fouls, so he can't reach or anything. He's forced to just concede, and you have to run a double at him. Once you get a big that's that strong down low, you've got to run somebody at him to force him to get rid of the basketball.
It'll be St. Mary's ball out of the timeout, 8:16 on the clock. Martin hands it off to Anthony Bello. Swings it around Gleason.
Good recognition of the back cut there.
Up high for Cave. Nice crossover. Got around Alioth, but threw it wildly off the backboard, and now a foul on the rebound.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, it appears that Wheaton's taking the approach of let Cave get his, we're going to take away the help. I mean, it kind of reminds you of the way you chose to pick your poison with Steve Jurakovic in Carthage, and even with the way teams probably defended Aston Francis at times, was you either try to stop him or you try to stop everybody else. And Wheaton seems pretty happy to let him shoot, let him go get his. He's going to have to score 50 to beat you, so let him get his and take away all his help.
And it's those open looks that Cave just missed that are the ones that just aren't going down for him tonight, and he seems incredulous. Cruikshank takes it away.
Cruikshank got an elbow to the eye there.
Hey, he's not happy that he didn't get a whistle there. He kind of threw it up, I think, to draw attention when he flipped that ball back over his head.
I think Mike Schauer's saying it was deflected up and out of there. I don't know that it was. I think it was just Cruikshank throwing it up there. Of course, he's unhappy there wasn't a foul there, but that would be the second misappropriated elbow to the head area we've seen tonight. There was one in the first game that was not handled very well by the officiating crew.
Cave hands it off to Martin, looking for some space. Martin driving in.
It's a strong take.
Yeah, gets it to go through the contact.
He got a dome backpedaling a little bit and retreating, and once you get a guard retreating, you continue to drive at them. Because at that point, they're not in a position where they can set up and take a charge. So you just keep taking the ground they're giving you.
Anthony looking inside to Alioth.
And there's the double.
Yep. And what a look from Alioth.
Well, and you saw Cave and Gleason looked at each other like, what can we do? Because that's exactly what you said. What Cave said, what do we do? All right, well, just exactly what I just said. You run a double. As soon as they run the double, Vegas is smart enough to just streak right to the basket.
And the early recognition as Alioth on the break coming down. Draws the foul. Oh, Stevens thought he got all ball. We'll get another look here. Alioth had 2 men trailing. Not another blue jersey. Yeah, that's pretty clearly a foul.
Alioth had his mind on one thing there, and that was finding a way to get to the rim and hammer that thing. And it was either going to be spectacular or spectacularly wild. And the foul didn't let us get to the conclusion of that one. There was a chance that thing ricocheted back to half court. There was also a chance we would have had a SportsCenter top 10 on our hands. Either way, it's the first foul on Brady Stevens.
Alioth can't get the first to go. Wheaton still up by 16. Holding steady at that point. They've been up by as many as 22 or 23, I believe.
Yeah, and they haven't let it get down below the 14 points again. 13's was that initial run by St. Mary's, and
I think that's the smallest deficit since Wheaton went on that opening 16-2 run to start the game.
Yeah, it was the 2-0 and 4-2 were the smallest. And then Wheaton went on a 17-0 run. And that's the closest they've been since is 13, and Wheaton answered that with a 7-0 run to push it back to 20. Spencer back in, and we talked about balanced scoring as well. Wheaton's got 4 guys in double figures. Alioth with 13, Cruikshank with 12, Adome with 11, Anthony with 12, and then you've got a Spencer with 8. So that's the recipe for success for this Wheaton squad.
And Adome hits the deck hard.
Yeah, that's just poor by St. Mary's. You're out of a ball stoppage, and they're not ready. You've got 5 guys standing around,
and forces Cave to go completely parallel to the ground with his arms, and that's going to be whistled every time.
Yeah, that's body language stuff. That's things that you're getting beat and you're kind of wallowing in it, and then Wheaton's keeping the foot down on the gas, and Adome just attacking Cave, who picks up his 4th. Cave's been effective with his 17. He's 7 of 15 from the floor, but he's missed all 5 3-pointers. He came in averaging almost 53% from the 3-point line, so that's pretty good defense by the Thunder not to let him get there.
They're struggling from the free throw line as well, just 3 of 8.
Yeah, they've left points out there. They're 8 of 13 from the line. Wheaton 9 of 13. So Adome now joins Alioth with 13.
A wild 3 from Stevens over Cooked, and that's going to be a foul, loose ball against Pickford. And that'll put the Thunder into the bonus, so Cruikshank will go to the line for a 1-and-1. This could turn into a long final 6, Rusty.
Yeah, well, we're fortunate we made it to the 6. we've seen plenty earlier, too. And usually you get these games off of breaks, and guys want to officiate things early, and you could get to the bonus pretty quick. But
second one no good as Cave comes away with it. Step back 3. 0 of 6 from deep now for the big man.
Yeah, and some of that is shot selection, but some of it is also who he's guarded by. Cave's a guy at 6'7", who's a tough matchup. You're either going to get a defensive-minded center who's going to give you some room, or a smaller guard, whereas Wheaton's got length with Alioth and Spencer, and athletic length that can get out and challenge those shots.
Yeah, Cave's not going to see a whole lot of guys his side with his speed defending him directly.
And this is also a good test for Alioth and Spencer, because there's not a whole lot of guys like this in the CCIW. Mm-hmm. You know, the biggest ones you can think of is Connor Raritan. Yeah. And Raritan's doesn't quite have the fluidity to his game that Cave has. Raritan is more of a Tyler Peters type, where he's going to get the ball on the block and try to back you down and assess the floor from the baseline kind of guy, whereas Cave is really going to create and look to make something happen from the perimeter downhill.
And even throwing another wrench in it with Cave is the fact that he's a lefty.
Yes.
I mean, lefties are just awkward to guard, let alone a lefty with the talent that Eli Cave has.
You could probably stop without using the word guard when it comes to lefties. Lefties can be awkward, just in general. I say that as a baseball coach.
Cruikshank, mid-range jumper, no good. Rebounded momentarily by Stevens. Alioth hit the deck kind of awkwardly, but he's able to recover. It's Pickford taking it across midcourt. Stevens finds some room, gets it in to
nice
Chilson.
Finish. Really nice drive, really nice finish there. They're down to 14 again, but you're starting to get to the point where you can no longer have a setback. You've got to go and go now.
You need to stack a lot of stops with a lot of made buckets.
Yeah, the math gets pretty tough, but there you go.
There's one. You got to start somewhere.
That's right.
Pickford handling the guard duties. Swings it around to Cave. Alioth pulled out onto the perimeter. Inside to Stevens, and he's fouled by Anthony on the way up.
Well, you've got your store, you've got your stop. If you can make both free throws.
Within 12.
Yep.
First one no good though. Second one from Stevens. He's able to get it to go. 13-point game.
Score here from Wheaton might be enough to break St. Mary's, especially a 3.
Anthony thought about it. Up top to Spencer. Gets it to Cruikshank. He's going to take it. Short. Anthony Bello had it in his hands and somehow lost it. Adome can't get it to go. Alioth with the follow.
Yeah, that's apropos of the night for both teams, really, is that St. Mary's had a chance to kind of swing things back, and it goes right through their fingertips, literally, and Wheaton just out-hustles them and gets a second chance bucket.
Cave, a little driving dish. Pickford takes it strong but can't get it to go. Body's hitting the floor all over the place. Alioth slow to get up.
Yeah, he's cramping up. Oh, what
and
a
how
finish.
about that finish by Adome? As Alioth's still down on the other side, he's going to make his way back towards midcourt and limp off.
Yeah, he's cramping up pretty good, and he's not going to make it off. The trainers were working on him earlier.
And he's just going to hobble himself off the court, get out of the way so this game can finish up while he gets taken care of.
Yeah, that finish.
Really no reason for him to be in there anymore. 72-55 with this little time on the clock. Adome might have sealed it with his past 2 plays.
Yeah, that finish by Adome registered on the Astonometer there. That's a highlight finish.
Yeah, that's an up and under body parallel to the floor, and somehow you put blind English on it to get it to roll through.
And finishes the 3-point play.
73-55.
So that's 16 now for Niamie Adome, who leads the Thunder.
Pickford driving in, gets it to finish himself. Past Adome, and Pickford's not quite done with this one yet. He's turned something on up a couple levels these past few possessions.
Yeah, it's a little bit too little too late. They needed to see that aggression early on.
Anthony guarded by Anthony Bello.
The urgency has been there from the Cardinals in the second half. There's no doubt about that. They just have buried themselves too deep a hole with the first 10 minutes of this game.
Dome kicks it out. Spencer, deep 3. That won't go. Stevens with the rebound. Cave driving in. Spencer affected that shot if he didn't get a piece of it.
Yeah, that's a good challenge.
Adome now with it. And they're going to take every second of the clock from here on out.
Yeah, you've reached the point where now you start to take some seconds out of this game.
Anthony, little step back, drew the foul. Sloppy play by Stevens to go up like that.
Well, and the fact that he's got the footwork down, that's a good sign for Luke Anthony. Because he tried to move in that. He only had a couple minutes at Calvin where they had some guards in foul trouble, and Mike Schauer was trying to get to halftime. And the footwork was all over the place. So it's good to see him start to get the rhythm back. There's a difference between a drop step and a 5-step drop. And
big difference.
Big difference, and you're starting to see him go more to get that basketball footwork back.
First one misses off the front iron. As we get Uvegas back in the game. And the second one no good either. Anthony struggling a little bit from the line. Got hot there in the middle for a second.
Well, again, the consistency will come as you continue to get more minutes under your belt.
And Chilson can't get that one to go. Tipped back out to Anthony Bello. Pickford with another nice finish. He's had a couple of those. Very athletic play.
Yeah, he's done a nice job getting downhill, and they just needed it earlier in the game. They needed somebody to have some aggression, and they couldn't really get.
And there he just got a little too aggressive. Although that one will go against Anthony Bello. That's his 4th. And Cruikshank knocks down the first. And the second goes as well. So continuing to extend the Thunder. Pickford gets it down low to Chilson. Chilson looking for somewhere to go. Anthony doing a good job on him. Freetley can't get that one. Cruikshank will slow it down after he gets across mid-court. With a minute and a half to play, Coach Schauer gonna pretty much empty the bench here. Adome left that one behind. Pickford in transition. Knocks that one down over Vegas.
And he's not going to love the way this is going to finish with his first unit, but I think you end up taking the win.
Vegas went up strong, but couldn't get to go past Chilson. And a foul going to be whistled. It'll either be Anthony or Adome. It's Adome at the end with just a little bit of a reach. It'll send Pickford to the line once again. We have Williams, Lipscomb, Orange, Considine,
and you're also going to see, looks like Blake Foley is going to round that lineup out.
Trying to get a look at all the numbers when they're lined up on the free throw. A lot of bodies in between.
Certainly never going to make it easier for the broadcaster.
No.
Stay with us for the postgame here. We get a chance to talk to Coach Schauer after his team will move to 9-2 on the season, and they will get a rematch with the Panthers of Hanover. The final score is not going to accurately reflect the end of this game. They've got to cut to 11 here.
Connolly knocked down that catch and shoot three in his first moments of action tonight. And at the stoppage, they'll bring in Zach Jesseth. Orange flips it over to Williams. Back to Orange. Playing a bit of a two-man game, 10 on the shot clock. Williams kicks it out. Orange got to make a decision, drives in. Textbook off the glass from the block.
Yeah, Brandon Orange is a guy with upside who I like. He's just kind of blocked by similar body types there. When he's gotten opportunities, there's another three for the Cardinals. When he's gotten opportunities, he showed good touch and good feel to finish around the basket.
A 10-point game, but the shot clock is off. Wheaton can just run this one out, and I think that's what the freshman Williams is going to do.
Yeah, St. Mary's is going to do a nice job of making this not look so bad, but
yeah, got it down to 10, but
just
too little,
the
too
hole
late.
Was too deep.
Yeah.
This game was decided in the first 10 minutes, and then you play the game that's built then, and just a little too late for St. Mary's, who will play we'll play Dubuque in the 2 o'clock game tomorrow. Wheaton will play Hanover in the 4 o'clock game.
So Wheaton improves to 9-2 on the season, and a victory that's more dominant than it looks on the scoreboard. St. Mary's will fall to 6-2. Like Rusty said, they face off with Dubuque in the early game tomorrow. That'll start at 2 p.m. right here in King Arena. But now we'll send it to Rusty with Coach Schauer down the court.
Thanks, Nate. Joined with head coach Mike Schauer. Coach, obviously you get these layoffs and games can get a little hectic, but your team holds them to 2 points for the first 10 minutes. It wasn't a pretty game in the first half, but your defense was there in the beginning and really built you a cushion to win this game on.
Yeah, only two good things from this, Rusty. It's over, and we won. We did very little to hold them to 2 points. It's difficult to take that amount of time off and come back and play. We look gassed. They look gassed. Tomorrow will be better for everybody. It's just that no matter what you do, one, I believe in the break. I want to win basketball games. I don't think winning basketball games is the most important thing in the young men's lives, and it's not the most important thing in my life. Getting some time with family, celebrating Christmas, the birth of our Savior, those things seem more important than winning basketball games. But you're gonna pay for it when it's time to play again. It's interesting, Rusty, to my knowledge, we've never done this. We've never played at home over break, and we've certainly never played on a Monday. We didn't practice yesterday. And so I just think we kind of ran out of gas a little bit. We were pretty sloppy. But it's the same message I've kind of given all year about this team. We play really hard, and we care about winning. So that covers a multitude of a bad play. And then I've got a lot of good players. So, Tyson kind of carried us a little bit offensively in the first half, Ye in the second. So we'll see. Hanover's a good team that plays very differently than this. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah, we were kind of talking during the broadcast. These games feel like they're isolated and on an island just because of the way it falls, but this is big building momentum as you go right into the CCIW stretch in 2020. So you get a rematch with Hanover from the postseason last year. How big does this game loom for the big picture, both with your postseason and then going into North Central?
Yeah, the reason you saw why I wanted to play this game, and because we've got guys, LA's just gotten to us. We took it'd be hard to come back and have to go to North Central because they've played yesterday and the day before, I think, something like that. So they've played, they're back. We needed to play these games because no matter when your first one is, it's going to look like this. And so tomorrow's big for a lot of reasons. One, I'd just like to finish the non-conference season with a win, and get to 10-2. But I want the momentum. I think this is 5 in a row now. Keep that momentum going in to what is obviously now nothing but big games after this. So, we'll see. We're going to play a little earlier tomorrow because it's the New Year's holiday. So we're going to try to get some rest and see what happens.
Everybody gets a chance to look big picture at the end of the year. 2019, you wrap it up with a game tomorrow, but obviously a monumental calendar year for your program. Have you got a chance to kind of big picture what 2019 has meant?
No. we got other things we want to do. I mean, I'm really pleased, and it would be foolish for me to say anything else, but you know me and know that I can be fairly pessimistic, and I wasn't about this team. Really, from the first time we were together, I was pretty optimistic. I felt like we were better than people thought, and I still think we're better than people think. But eventually, we can't fool them forever. We're a good team. I don't know that we're special, but we're a good team.
Coach, thanks for your time. We get a chance to see you tomorrow. Again, Wheaton 77-67, our final score over St. Mary's. They will play tomorrow at 4 o'clock against Hanover College in the championship game of the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Classic. A complete game recap and statistics from this game will be available on the Wheaton website at athletics.wheaton.edu. For Nate Stein, I'm Rusty Lindsay, our outstanding production crew with Sunrise Communications. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow night here on WTSN.